Caitlin, I know you told us today that after practice you were a little bit nervous going in just because you hadn't played in a while. Was there a moment you kind of got over that, said, all right, I'm good, I'm back to where I was before I got hurt? And I think you hit that one step back three that sort of bring sort of some comfort in some ways, the sort of part we saw.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like when I touched the basketball to start warming up before the practice even started, that's probably when I felt pretty comfortable. But I mean,
Observe her expression closely in that moment. It transcends mere court jitters. It reflects a surfacing of half a year's worth of seclusion, vexation, and uncertainty. Caitlin Clark vocalized an internal struggle typically concealed by elite athletes, a need for self-revalidation. Her unprecedented 7-year playing streak was interrupted by a 2024 WNBA ankle injury, which not only physically sidelined her but also fractured her psychological state. The events at this USA basketball camp in Cleveland further illuminate the true depth of that internal damage.
Hi, Caitlin. You previously said that there was no disappointment when you weren't selected for the 2024 Paris Olympics because it gave you something to work toward. Reflecting back on the past year and a half, and making your first senior camp, what does this moment mean for you, and why is this the right time for you?
yeah, I mean, I think anytime you can do a USA basketball related camp, or obviously in my past, it's been all junior national teams. And, I've been cut from some of those and I've played for 3 of them. So I think I've experienced both sides of it. And, this is the biggest honor you can possibly have, and playing basketball in our country is wearing USA across your chest. So, I'm just excited to be here and honored. Obviously, it's kind of like the start to the new Olympic cycle, and quite a few different.
The February 2025 USA Basketball Senior National Team Camp marks Caitlin's initial participation since last summer's widely discussed Olympic omission. Recall the prevailing justifications: a need for greater tenure, established team dynamics, a future opportunity. These official statements seemed incongruous given her rookie statistics: 19.2 points per game, Rookie of the Year honors, and a solo impact on WNBA viewership. Yet, an unforeseen development unfolded. Between the July Olympic letdown and this February camp, Caitlin Clark largely receded from public view. This wasn't a deliberate choice. Her late 2024 ankle injury evolved into what she termed an escalating ordeal. Successive ailments compounded, impacting her ankle. Abruptly, the athlete, who maintained an unbroken playing record since high school, found herself a spectator, powerless to aid her team's playoff aspirations.
Yeah, I think for sure. And I put together a pretty incredible stretch of never missing a game. And, the fact is, when you're a professional athlete, it's going to come at some point. That's just how it goes. I think it's honestly taught me more than I've probably ever learned through the course of my career of, how to take care of your body, how to get right, how to stay healthy, and then just taking time for yourself. Like, obviously being hurt is an incredibly isolating thing, and you don't really understand it until you go through it. And then I think the challenge for myself was just, it was one injury, and then it was like a little better, and then it kind of continued to compound and get worse, and, other things pop up. And then I had the ankle injury. So it feels nice to finally be back to 100%. And in a way, at the end of the WNBA season, like, obviously I did everything I could to try to be able to come back. And
the expression "incredibly isolating" holds significant weight. It's not a casual remark. Elite athletes are trained to mask frailties and avoid public vulnerability. Her public utterance of this phrase underscores the profound challenges faced during those months. Furthermore, her subsequent comment, "It took longer than expected," isn't a simple statement. It reveals a complex recuperation, characterized by an unyielding daily rehabilitation regimen, the distress of observing her team's struggles in her absence, and the heavy psychological burden of questioning her physical return to form. The timing is crucial. Her health problems emerged in late September. The Indiana Fever season concluded in October. This provided Caitlin approximately 4 months to achieve full fitness before the USA basketball camp. 4 months of continuous therapy, 4 months collaborating with trainers who, as she noted, were equally dedicated, driven by her anticipated success. 4 months spent contemplating if her signature step-back three-pointer would ever feel fluid again.
Hi, Caitlin. Obviously, this camp has a lot of younger players. What can you say just about all of you being able to come together and kind of signify this start of this new Olympic cycle, with all of you being together and being so familiar with each other?
Yeah, and I think a lot of us have familiarity, whether we were playing on junior national teams together or whether we played versus each other in college or, obviously playing now versus each other in WNBA, or some of us obviously are teammates as well. So, we know each other pretty well. I think it obviously speaks to the way USA basketball does such a great job at the junior national team levels of really getting you kind of involved in the program and understanding what USA basketball is about. You understand how big of an honor it is to be able to do this. And if you're lucky enough to do it, just once, that's incredibly cool to represent your country. So I think for us, like being able to have that and then come into this national team camp together, it just is a thing of comfort, but also like we're all very competitive and you want to be surrounded by the best at the same time. And I think that's kind of the feeling all around for all of us.
A compelling revelation emerges while she discusses her established rapport with the younger athletes on the USA roster, forged through junior national team play, collegiate rivalries, and WNBA competition. The underlying message is more profound. This gathering signifies a transition between eras. The established veterans, Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, Sylvia Fowles, are either departed or nearing retirement. This marks a new epoch, and USA Basketball is implicitly declaring, "Caitlin, you are integral to our future build-up for 2028. This carries immense weight, considering that merely 8 months prior, she was deemed inadequate for the Paris Olympic squad. Now she is being positioned as a pivotal figure for the subsequent Olympic period. What accounted for this change? Her rookie year unfolded, witnessing an unprecedented surge in viewership. Arena capacities were reached. The undeniable evidence emerged that she is not merely a collegiate sensation, but a bona fide professional luminary. USA Basketball witnessed these developments while its current Olympic team struggled to ignite comparable enthusiasm.
Yeah, I mean, I plan to play in the WNBA. Obviously, that's another thing that we need to get done, so we have a season coming up here. But I think more than anything, it showcases what people think of women's basketball. All of these different opportunities, all these different leagues, the platform that they want to give women's basketball, where they think women's basketball is going to continue to grow. I think that's probably the thing that pops into my mind, is just that of like people are really believing and putting their money where their mouth is. And that hasn't always been the case for women's basketball, no matter how great it's been over the course of, the last 25, 30 years. And so I think for myself, like that's probably what I'm most proud of, is just how, excited and people are to really invest and want
to champion women's basketball above all else. That particular utterance encapsulates the current financial reality. Stakeholders are demonstrating genuine conviction through capital investment. While she references Unrivaled, the emerging 3-on-3 league vying with the WNBA, her scope extends to a broader foundational transformation within women's basketball. For generations, rhetoric of supporting women's sports abounded. Appreciative words and athlete commendations were common, yet substantial financial dedication remained absent until recently. Unrivaled boasts significant financial backing. The WNBA recently finalized a media rights agreement valued at $2.2 billion over 11 years, a substantial jump from the prior $60 million yearly. Expansion franchises command $50 million each. Abruptly, Caitlin Clark finds herself the focal point of intense competition for her involvement. Unrivaled reputedly extended an offer exceeding $1 million for a brief season. The WNBA desires her presence within its structure. USA Basketball seeks her availability for global contests. This signifies unparalleled bargaining power for a WNBA athlete. Observe her skillful handling of the inquiry. She neither pledges allegiance to Unrivaled nor dismisses it. She merely states her intention to participate in the WNBA, preserving all other possibilities. Such a maneuver indicates an individual acutely aware of her market worth, unwilling to constrain her prospects.
Yeah, I think Coach Kara is, obviously she knows just as good as anybody else what USA basketball is all about, winning a gold medal. And then additionally, like she's been a part of a lot of different Olympic teams, whether it's 3-on-3 stuff, whether it's obviously an assistant coach at the last gold medal. But I think it's just the energy she brings. And I think that impacts every single person in the gym. And I think that's a really powerful thing as a coach. So I think that was, this is really my first time around Coach Kara as well. Like I don't have a prior relationship with her. So obviously it's been good to get to know her over the course of this first few days. But I think for myself, it's just the energy and the competitive spirit that she brings as a coach. I think that's really impacts players and what they want to bring on the court as well.
The name Coach Cheryl Reeve commands significant respect. With 3 WNBA titles for the Minnesota Lynx and her role as assistant coach for Team USA at the Paris Olympics, she now assumes leadership of the national team that Caitlin is joining. Caitlin acknowledges Reeve's vigor and drive, yet a deeper implication warrants consideration. Reeve belonged to the coaching panel responsible for Caitlin's exclusion from last summer's Olympic roster. She participated in those deliberations, contributing to that verdict. Thus, Reeve's current leadership position in the program Caitlin is re-entering raises pertinent questions. Does this represent a renewed beginning? Is this Reeve's rectification of what many perceived as an oversight? Or is it merely the logical progression of the program, rendering Caitlin's Olympic bypass a past event? The precise answer may be less critical than the public perception. Externally, it appears USA Basketball is diligently ensuring it capitalizes on the Caitlin Clark epoch, having previously overlooked it.
Well, first of all, obviously it's great to see Cam. Last time I played USA Basketball, I'm pretty sure she was on the team, or maybe that was 2 times ago, but she was actually my roommate one of the times that I played USA Basketball. So I've known her for quite some time now, and then obviously throughout college continued to build our relationship, and then even now professionally. So it's always good to see people that you've known for 5+ years and even longer now. I mean, it was the U16 team was the first team I ever played on, and I think I was 15. So it's been almost 9 years now, which is pretty incredible, the course of this journey. And then golfing wise, I'm not really quite sure who's all big into golfing in the WNBA. So I don't know, maybe I'd love to get out there and play with some different players, but I put the golf clubs away now. I'm truly focused on basketball. It makes my body a little bit sore. So I'd rather just stick to basketball, but I love it. And it's always great to be outside. And obviously the weather is not too hot in Indianapolis or Iowa at the moment for me to be golfing at all. So that helps too.
Cameron Brink, her roommate at this camp, represents a noteworthy connection. Brink and Clark share a 9-year history, tracing back to the U16 national team. They navigated the USA basketball framework together, comprehending the demands of national representation at the elite tier. Now both professional athletes, they seek to solidify their positions within the national team structure. However, this re-encounter gains additional intrigue. Cameron Brink sustained a torn ACL in June 2024, prematurely concluding her WNBA rookie season. Consequently, 2 of the 2024 draft class's most celebrated newcomers, both managing severe injuries, both rigorously undergoing rehabilitation, both present at this camp are striving to test their physical readiness. This shared ordeal fosters a profound connection, enabling an understanding of each other's struggles that uninjured players cannot replicate. Furthermore, the remark about golf, she is shelving her clubs, concentrating solely on basketball, ensuring her physique remains free from strain caused by extraneous activities. This reflects the mentality of an individual who absorbed a difficult lesson regarding self-care, someone who will no longer jeopardize anything that could potentially compromise her on-court presence.
I've worked so hard, I haven't taken a break since, honestly, since the beginning of the WNBA season, with just all my rehab and getting back to where I wanted to be, and then getting even better. So that's been kind of my focus, and this has kind of been my next thing that I've been working for since our season ended, and just really thankful for the training staff and player development and everybody that has kind of been there with me. They haven't taken a break either, because they invest a lot of time and they want me to be successful. So I think for myself, it's not proving it to yourself again, but it's just that feeling. And I think it just made me smile quite a bit. I really did kind of feel like myself out there and just continuing to get my lungs back. But I felt like I was moving really well. So it was pretty satisfying.
Thanks.
All right.
This entire unfolding scenario possesses a profound intrigue. Caitlin Clark maintained an unbroken playing record for 7 years through high school and college, an extraordinary display of consistency, establishing her as an exceptionally dependable athlete across all competitive tiers. Upon entering the WNBA, she endured an intensely demanding rookie campaign under unprecedented scrutiny until her body finally signaled its limits. Her ankle injury wasn't mere misfortune, it represented the inevitable outcome of sustained physical exertion, eventually manifesting. Yet, the lessons absorbed during her recuperation regarding physical maintenance, sustained wellness, and being an effective teammate even when sidelined may ultimately surpass any on-court learning. Consider the mental fortitude required to transition from collegiate dominance to Olympic exclusion, to an injured rookie observing her team's struggles, culminating in this USA basketball camp where where her renewed smile reflects a return to self. This signifies not just physical healing, but deep psychological stamina, essential for thriving at professional basketball's apex. This camp marks a critical juncture, altering not only Caitlin's trajectory but also her fundamental engagement with the sport. She is no longer the unassailable college phenom. She has evolved into a professional athlete, chastened by injury, cognizant of her physiological boundaries, and familiar with feelings of isolation and powerlessness. Such experiences either devastate or fortify. Based on her demeanor at this camp, the joy upon touching the ball, the assuredness in her movements, the gratitude extended to her devoted trainers, her path forward is unmistakable. USA Basketball's prior summer decision to exclude her from the Olympic roster, irrespective of its athletic merit, conveyed a clear message: you are not yet prepared. 8 months later, following an award-winning rookie season and a humbling ruggery, they are integrating her, positioning her as a fundamental asset for the upcoming Olympic cycle. They are placing their wager on the Caitlin Clark, who will emerge in forthcoming competition. However, a crucial aspect of Caitlin Clark's character endures. She does not forget. She recalls being cut from junior teams, the Olympic slight, every criticism, every insinuation of unreadiness, and she transmutes these into fuel. That inherent drive persists. Her injury merely intensified it. Therefore, observing her at this USA basketball camp, smiling in her restored state, do not mistake it for complacency. This is not an individual content with her current standing. This is someone who has reset at the starting line, poised to disprove all skeptics once more. The Olympic omission fueled her, the injury tempered her spirit. Now both powerful motivators propel her simultaneously. The ensuing years promise to be captivating, as we witness not just an adept athlete's injury recovery, but a complete transformation: dominance, rejection, injury, recuperation, emerging with a profound self-awareness of her identity and capability. This poses a significant threat to opponents, to naysayers, to anyone who presumed the Caitlin Clark era might conclude prematurely. USA Basketball recognizes this. Hence her presence at camp. The WNBA acknowledges it, evidenced by the multi-billion-dollar TV deal. Unrivaled comprehends it, hence their $1 million offer. Everyone perceives it, save for those entrenched in narratives of her being overhyped, overrated, or unready for prime time. Those individuals face a challenging period ahead, because Caitlin Clark has just explicitly declared what lies ahead. She devoted 6 months to overcoming isolation and injury to achieve full recovery. Neither she nor her trainers fault. Now back on court, she is smiling, moving fluidly, and feeling whole once more. This is not the conclusion of a comeback, it is the forceful inception of her next phase. And if you're not yet paying attention, you are already at a disadvantage.